According to the September 21, 2023 article featured on the Center for American Progress website, the writer quotes a current population survey which reports that only 16 million Americans, or 10% of working population Americans, are currently self-employed. They go on to say that another 10 million had side hustles, meaning they filed some form of self-employment income or loss on their taxes, while at the same time reporting they had jobs. In any given year over multiple surveys, anywhere from 40 to 60% of Americans or more hope to start a business someday. But the data shows that someday never comes. Franchisors report that out of 100 people who directly request franchise information about their brands, 1% or less move forward. Purely, statistically speaking, and nothing personal intended, you will not make an investment in a franchise either. Yes, you will engage in the typical complaints of corporate America, such as, "I am tired of placing my future in the hands of others," or, "I do all the work, and shareholders make all the money." You will Google different franchise opportunities, visit franchisor homepages, print out stacks of information, perhaps talk to people and professionals you trust about their opinions of certain brands or industries, and even engage in conversations with franchisors. At the time you are researching, you will feel empowered. You'll tell your friends you're considering buying a business. Chances are they thought about it too. Some will be happy for you, some will be jealous, some will be afraid for you. Virtually everyone will share their opinions with you. You'll dream about what it would be like to be your own boss. You will think about your customers and employees. You will make clever little charts such as Benjamin Franklin's T-chart, where you neatly list all the pros on the left-hand side of the page, balanced by the cons on the right-hand side. Then the time will come to make a decision. To you it may look like a rational decision, but this decision will often be clouded in fear, doubt, negative self-chatter, and head trash. Eventually you probably will make a fear and doubt no decision, backed by the logic of your neatly listed cons. The business has fatal flaws, you think. Employee turnover is too high. Competition is too fierce. The business is too risky. Sure, it may work in some areas, but everyone knows my town is different. And with everything going on in my life, the timing couldn't be worse. Financial resources are scarce and were hard to come by. I need to be responsible and not take risks. I didn't work this hard and long and sacrifice this much to lose what I have. I can't put my family in any financial danger. Plus, if I leave my company, I will lose my insurance and benefits. What if someone in your family had to go to the hospital? How would you survive those medical bills? Plus, my industry is changing so fast, in a few years my expertise would be obsolete and it would be impossible for me to regain entry if your business didn't make it. I would lose my position and have to come back perhaps on a more junior level. I can't take that risk either. Certainly almost every reasonable person armed with the same research and faced with the same personal challenges you have would naturally come to the same conclusion. And you are right. 99% of the people who reach out to franchisors do. But that's not how entrepreneurs think. If you have never started a business before, you may be entrepreneurial, but you aren't an entrepreneur. Being an entrepreneur is not a change of location or external circumstances. Entrepreneur is an identity. It's a way of being and a way of thinking and acting which is distinctly different from those with an employee mindset think and act. An employee is not better or worse than an entrepreneur, just different. The economy needs both to thrive, but they approach their life, career, and investment decisions differently. The 1% and the 99% all start in the same place in the franchise investigation process, but not in the same clean mental place. Truth be known, and this is going to make some people crazy, the 99% have a consistent and persistent career complaint like the complaints we outlined earlier, but no real intention of ever doing anything about it. That's why the percentage of Americans who wish to start a business and those who actually do are materially different. The 1% have the same complaints as the 99%, just different future intentions. The 99% investigate franchises with some underlying intention of disproving different franchise opportunities so they can dismiss self-employment as a career option. Conversely, the 1% make a firm commitment to put the past in the past and alter their future. Starting any full-time business seems like an unreasonable and unnatural undertaking, but the 1% refuse to live a reasonable, natural, and compromised life. Their circumstances aren't usually different than yours. Many have similar backgrounds, finances, experience, education, and training to yours. They are your age, have the same family challenges, and even live in your neighborhood. They don't have more confidence, skills, education, experience, or capital than you. Perhaps they are more committed to their dreams, perhaps they simply have more pain, perhaps they just can't keep repeating the past anymore. The risk and disappointment of leaving things the way they are appears bigger than the risk of starting a business. That's their math. Whatever their reason, they have come to a place in life where they would rather take a shot, rather than sit in the bleachers and wonder what it is like to play. However, the 99% are more likely than the 1% to listen to the lies of their inner critic, giving into self-limiting beliefs. Your inner critic is that little voice in your head, ready to emotionally hijack you at your weakest moments and seize control of your decision-making capabilities by hurling accusations such as, "You aren't good enough. You aren't smart enough. You will go broke. You can't trust anyone. You will never get what you want. You don't deserve what you want. You don't belong. You don't make a difference. There is something wrong with you. It's all your fault. You can't do it." And in the end, instead of buying a franchise and pursuing a life and career you desire, you buy the lie and relive some version of the same old past you expressed a sincere desire to leave behind. You will compromise on your future, and a small part of you will die. You back up the self-limiting beliefs with what appears on the surface to be airtight logic, such as, "I need the security of a job until my kids go to college," or "This business has too much competition." But you don't do the math about how much the business predictably generates, how much working and transition capital you will need to ramp the business up, how the right debt strategy reduces risk, and what the probability is that you can achieve both outcomes of ramping up a business and sending kids to college. And you don't talk to existing franchisees of the brand you're looking at, who may be in similar competitive situations, and discuss what they do to compete and thrive. Instead, you hold on to two thoughts that still appear to be true. If I could only find the right business, I could become successful. If I am to succeed, I have to launch my business when the time is right. Let's look at these potentially self-limiting beliefs individually. Finding the right business. You know the right business, the one with low startup costs. You could start it with the loose change you found in your sofa cushions. There is no inventory, or if there is inventory, customers will pay you first, and then you go out and buy your inventory with your customers' money. There are no contingent liabilities such as real estate or equipment leases. There is little risk, a big return on investment, and fast equity buildup. You parlay your sofa cushion money into $1 million enterprise. Although there's no competition, there's lots of demand for your products and services all year long. People will walk through snowdrifts in bare feet just for the opportunity to buy from you. Your products and services are so unique they can't be found anywhere else. Banks think the business is so hot, they are lined up to offer you money on a signature with no collateral. However, you don't need banks, just more old sofa cushions to rummage through. And think about your customers. They are happy, repeat customers, the kind of customers who walk into your place of business with $100 bills hanging out of their pockets and buy every product you offer. Plus, they bring other customers with them. Of course, they seek you out based on your reputation alone, so there is never a need to advertise, network, sell, or even leave the comfort of your home to find them. What about your employees? There are no employees needed. Or if you do need employees, they punch in exactly when they are supposed to, do what you tell them, exactly the way you told them to do it. Therefore, they need little supervision. They open, close, and maintain your operation while creating complete customer satisfaction. You only need to show up to empty the cash register. Unfortunately, the register fills up so often, this may require you to make several trips a day to the bank, which can interfere with your golf game. If by some freak chance you do have to replace an employee, it will be a breeze because responsible, clean-cut potential employees with positive can-do attitudes are always knocking on your door, looking to come to work for you. What's more, this business is easy to learn and to run. You come out of initial training as a master. You make no costly mistakes. You work 9 to 5 with no weekends, with long extended lunches. You finish 1 year making the same or more than you are earning now, and next year, you will double your income. Anything business not possessing the characteristics described appears to be the wrong business. The right time to start a business. The 99% live in an illusion, believing the universe consists of 2 time periods, the right time to start a business, and the time period they are currently living in, which of course is the wrong time. The wrong time looks as follows. Your kids have to be the right age. This means they aren't too old and they aren't too young. Or they need to get older and moved out. Or you think, if only I didn't have kids I would start a business. On some level, you believe nobody has ever found a way to succeed in franchising with your family situation. Second, you may believe you have to be the right age to start a business. Either you must be older, more financially secure, and have additional money to risk. Or you are middle-aged, a good earner, and at a pivot point in your life. Or you wish you were younger, and therefore nothing to lose and a lifetime to earn back. On some level, you believe it's harder for someone your age to start a business. You have to have the right spouse. He or she earns enough to meet your household expenses and wholeheartedly supports whatever decision you make. Or your spouse will help you in business to keep your overhead down. You may believe it's harder for anyone in your current marital or relationship situation to succeed in franchising. Looking for the perfect business to start, and the right time to start a business, is the franchising equivalent of going on a snipe hunt. Remember snipe hunts? For those of you who don't know, on camping vacations and family picnics, sometimes the adults send kids out to find snipe, a noble, fictitious creature quest designed by adults to get rid of kids so they can drink beer, play poker, and swear like sailors. For those first-time entrepreneurs who have children, it will look like this. When you first think about having kids, you have certain triggers. You want to be at the right level in your career, living in the right house, in the right neighborhood, in the right school district, and with the right nest egg for emergencies. Over time, you find you never quite get to that level, or the level moves, your house always needs something else, the neighborhood lacks something, the schools may or may not be what you thought they were, and your nest egg never looks big enough. Then you sit down with your spouse and decide you can always find reasons not to start your family and your clock is ticking. So eventually you decide now is as good a time as any, and then you go to work to make yourself right. Because you are you, it all works out in the end. The bottom line. The 99% try to wait for uncontrollable external stances to align before they start a business, while at the same time complaining that they don't have enough control. They suffer from circular logic and self-limiting beliefs like fear of failure. The 1% declare now is the right time and then actively go to work to make themselves right. At the end of the day, that's the difference. The 99% desire more control as long as uncontrollable events magically line up and offer it to them on a silver platter, which of course seldom happens. I can sum up this section in two ways. Those who are prone to make things happen possess an entrepreneur's mindset and probably would be happy as entrepreneurs if they aren't that already. Those who are prone to let things happen have an employee mindset. If you have an employee mindset, there is nothing wrong with that. Those with an entrepreneurial mindset often need the great employees to achieve their objectives. You are a mission-critical component in most entrepreneurs' plan. If you wish to be self-employed, buying a business will be risky unless you change your mindset. Transitioning from employee to entrepreneur is not a change of scenery. It's a change of identity or mindset. It's an inside-out job. The difference between those first-time entrepreneurs who pull the trigger and start a business and those who watch from the sidelines are as follows. The 99% versus the 1%. The 99% waits for the right time to start a business. The 1% declares now is the time, and then work to make it the right time. The 99% tries to find the perfect business. The 1% tries to find a solid business with strong economics and will do the work necessary to succeed. The 99% looks for what's wrong with franchises and why it won't work, and often overemphasizes risk, despite objective evidence to the contrary. The 1% studies a brand's historical track record of success. The 99% talks to franchisees operating within similar markets and with similar backgrounds to predict probability of success. They have no expectation the business will make them successful. The 1% is looking for a business that will make them successful, although they know there is no such thing as a job or company that would make them successful. They did the work. The 99% looks for franchises with a strong track record of success and studies what makes the business work and identifies what it takes to win. Then determines whether or not they have and are willing to do what it takes. The 99% is driven to avoid risk and achieve security and stability. The 1% possesses risk tolerance and is willing to forego some security and stability in the short run for long-term rewards. The 99% lets fear and uncertainty make the decision for them. The 1% makes informed decisions on what is the highest and best use of capital, skills, and effort. The 99% is not born into the 99%. They become the 99% through the decisions they make. The 1% is not born into the 1%. They become the 1% through the decisions they make.